Hello, possums. Here we are on the other side of Halloween. Was it Obama who said recently, every day seems like Halloween? It is like that, isn't it? It's just, but in the good news column, two Illinois National Guard refused, they have the option to refuse to carry out what they consider illegal and inhumane uh, orders. And they said, I will not go and arrest my neighbours. So good on them. And other things are happening in terms of the resistance too. So I think Portland did a great job with the furry animals, and Chicago is using a whistle system. Have you heard about the whistles? So the idea is if you see an ICE agent, you blow the whistle and there's whistle codes. You have to get a whistle pack, or I mean, you could have your own whistle, but the idea is a short whistle means this, and like maybe a short whistle means they're around the corner, or a longer whistle, someone's actually being arrested, and people are coming out of their houses to surround the agents. And these things have a long tradition. And I remember during the Troubles in Belfast in the 70s, the Troubles being a euphemism for a colonial war, but I won't go into the details. When the British soldiers were coming to arrest people in the housing flats, like the projects for the Catholics, the women would do two things. They'd open all their doors and they'd bang saucepans letting people know. And the reason they opened their doors was if anyone was on the run, they could go through their apartment and out the other side. So people have always had these techniques, these humble techniques of resisting out and out authoritarianism. And someone told me yesterday, any Norwegian listeners can confirm this for me. Um, During the Nazi reign, if you were anti-fascist, you'd wear a paperclip somewhere on your shirt or your jumper, and it was just a sign to other people you were anti-fascist. So let me know if you have stories about that. I think it's absolutely fascinating and got to keep up the resistance. Now, it looks like SNAP or a version of SNAP will be delivered. A federal judge said you have the money for SNAP. Wake up, snap out of it. Sorry about the bad joke, and get SNAP out there. I think they'll hold on to some of it and let some of it through or something. But really, too little, too late. But I want to share something here because I think this is really important. Two quotes I heard in the last couple of days from Republicans about SNAP, and it reveals everything about them. So, one guy, GOP Clay Higgins, if you haven't stockpiled a month's worth of food, you should never be allowed on SNAP again. Who are you, Josephine? No, hideous. And another Trump ally, Mike Davis, worse. Get off your fat ghetto asses and get a job. And it's outrageous. 40 million people are on food stamps. This is what they miss, right? Working people don't earn enough to cover their bills. And if you fall into a category where you're still entitled to food stamps, that is a national disgrace. They don't see it as a systemic issue. What? Yeah, it's really bad. 40 million Americans need regular help with food. That is shocking and is a systemic issue. That's why we need sociology, because it helps people realize it's not them. It's not them being bad money managers. It's not them being losers. The system is set up that people can work 40 hours a week, they can work two jobs and still not be able to make ends meet. That is a systemic failure of the system. Okay, shut up, Lena. We'll move on. But you get the point. And I'm pleased that I think people are beginning to realize there's no shame attached to that. Do not let any embarrassment or shame leap in. It is a national shame, not your shame. Okay. Now, before we leave food, I just want to shout out to all the decent progressive churches, mosques, temples who are stepping into the breach to help feed people. I think it's important to have that acknowledged. So let's go. Okay. Now, we've had too much news, not enough gossip. Erika Kirk, the Merry Widow, is she having a thing with JD Vance? Is it just a flirt? Usha doesn't look impressed, you have to say. Um, Now, no one's to say everyone grieves in the same way. I'm normally quite hesitant about criticizing someone for how they cope with particular big traumas in life. Everyone copes differently. But I must say, she's got a smile on the dial 24/7. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Merry Widow and JD Vance. I mean, he's such a shocking and degenerate creature, isn't he? He, of course, was dependent on food supplements growing up and other medical help and all sorts of things. But let's just forget that, pull the ladder up. Biracial kids, oh, maybe I can sort of convince them they're white in the night. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Anyway, let's have a look at these two. Oh, cards are upside down. Oh, it's not smooth sailing. Oh, he's so ambitious. Oh, yucky poo poo. Okay, all right. I hate to say it, I think it's a genuine connection in the terms of the it factor. But behind that, he's massively ambitious, and so is she. Mhm. Okay, so this is the five, five of swords. This is the messy bit now. Oh, guy, he's got a wife and two kids. Oh, she's got a couple of kids, hasn't she? You know, the demon spawn of he who shall not be named. It's messy. It's messy, it's ugly, it's antagonistic. Right. They are working out a plan behind the scenes. When this story first broke a few weeks ago or something, my position was who cares? Who gives a flying toss what they do? But it's bigger than that. All right. So this is about coming to a compromise. Now, this is legal. I think they're doing the math, and he thinks he can create a power couple by aligning himself with Erika. She can be first lady in her fantasy world, right? So she loves him. I'm thinking divorce here, but this is an interesting card in this context, this Four of Swords, because it's like Usha, we don't have to feel sorry for Usha, okay? Because she chose to be right wing in her own right before she met him. It's not about that. I think she was thinking seriously about divorce and may actually not be so happy about a divorce if she's going to see her husband for the next few years, regardless of the lay of the political land, every day on television with the floozy. She might actually refuse a divorce. Just saying. He mightn't be able to marry the widow so easily. But I think that's what they're thinking because That's his goal, stone thrown. He wants to be the Emperor of the United States, which is the GOP idea of a president. All right. So, what I wanted to talk about here was, yeah, um, the governors, by and large, the Dem governors in particular, are doing a great job of saying what needs to be said. They're taking it to the bullies. They're going on record. And Pritzker from Illinois has started an accountability commission. In other words, all the details that need to be had. So hopefully there will be a blue wave, but we have to talk about that in a moment. But these people must be held accountable. The Yeti, no, he'll end up in a, serene environment. He's not going to go to jail. He'll go to a serene environment, a facility somewhere. Like I said, they'll probably have an array of Sharpies for him to sign pieces of paper from documents that are 28 years old or something to keep him happy. But they're standing up, and the all the focus groups about the Dems, by and large, people are saying they want the Dems to fight harder. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Then I want to have a look at James Tallarico. Okay. Are the Dem leaders, don't forget, we all adore the next level down. They're fantastic. No. AOC, Jasmine Crockett. I love Eric Swalwell. Looks like a Kennedy. Don't forget Eric in all this in terms of potentials for 2028. There's lots of committed, talented, fearless people, which is what you need. But are the Dems getting it at the top level? Okay. Oh, they are at a crossroads. Oh, look at this. Look, I'm going to put it out here now. The Dems are at a crossroads, right? They can either do more of the same, in which case it's not looking good. More of the same is not going to cut it. They have to be more upfront. Too much is behind closed doors. That's big donor money. It's just being detached from real people and real people's problems and being more concerned with big business. Because let me take this moment to say, in all fascist regimes, you can't rely on big business to bail you out. Big business goes with the strong man. So we've all seen them lick the sandals of the Yeti in terms of, Tim Cook and all of them. But the Dems have too much corporate involvement and they're not quite upfront about it. And it's a burden to them. It's a burden to their perception, people's perception of them. And they need to get the big stick out and sort it out. Better to have this out now, even before the midterms. They need to really act now, because if they keep chaining the younger generation up, by the younger ones, I mean the 40 to 55-year-olds, it's not helping. It's not enough. Because young people in particular, they're using words like weak and don't fight, and I don't see how they'd help me. And this is a problem because no matter which party was in, things are getting materially worse and more challenging and more frightening for young people. It's very hard to get a secure job in the modern world. Everyone's on contract, even if you're a high performer. It's the insecurity. So that means you need a radical shift, like the Mamdani sort of thing, to actually come out and say, We are going to tax the uber wealthy another 2% or something. Take away the tax breaks and tax them more. They can share the pain. This would be massively popular, and they don't get it. That's actually what they have to do, and then nominate several policies that would actively improve the lives of young people because you've got voting where we have compulsory voting in Australia. People can turn up or not in the US. Why did Brexit happen in the UK? I'm really glad you asked. It happened because young people didn't turn out to vote. Oh, this has nothing to do with me. What are they talking about? Economy, trade, nothing to do with me. I can't be bothered voting, right? And they were the ones who instantly found, oh no, they used to be able to have their hen parties in Spain and get a cheap airfare and fly overnight, and they didn't need anything but their Euro passports that took them anywhere. They could take the dog and the cat. And then suddenly they couldn't. Healthcare's not covered in all, they lost everything because they didn't vote. I'm becoming more and more concerned about the non-participation of people who should be screaming blue voters by rights. And also the far right. I saw Nick Fuentes interviewed with Tucker Carlson. Oh, I digress. It was the most vicious anti-Semitic rave I have heard in decades. It was frightening to behold. Now, I don't have an issue with criticizing what Netanyahu is doing with the modern state of Israel in one particular hand here. But this anti-Semitic stuff that goes back to the Middle Ages is horrifying, and it takes the whole world backwards. It is not helpful. And young people gravitate to more of these strident guys. And Tucker Carlson, just like MTG, you can't trust her and you can't trust him. Right. So Tucker Carlson can say some things. I've heard him in other interviews talking quite sensibly about something, and I had to have a lie down. And then he comes up and just lets Nick Fuentes rave like that. It's disgusting. And MTG, I mean, she's all right at the moment, but sweet Jesus, God knows where she'll land on other issues. All right, now let's have a look here. I'm hoping his Great Gatsby Halloween party really got to people. Let's have a look. Are we getting closer to a Versailles moment pre the French Revolution? Because this, you know, we always look at crossroads like this. Often there's three, often there's four options of where to turn off the highway. So if he's not careful, could be a full-blown rising up of the people, pitchforks at midnight. Let's have a look at his preoccupation, the Yeti obviously I'm talking about, the detail about the bathroom and the and haven't got enough gold yet. Oh, I'm so sorry you're hungry. I'm not even so sorry. Is it getting anywhere with the cult members? Oh, let's do a few of these. It's funny that the apprentice card should turn up. This is where the rot started by millions of Americans watching The Apprentice, which hid the fact he was a six-time multiple bankrupt and all his behavior. That's where the fame came. The truth is starting to dawn. It's starting to dawn. Blessed be. And the Seven of Wands. Be ready, be prepared. And this is symbolically fighting on the hill. I think it is getting up people's noses because MAGA's starting to hit a reality collision. Right? they don't think they're beneficiaries. I don't know what they do think they are when they collect their government stipends, but they actually don't, but they're convinced that it's black welfare queens sucking the system dry, even though it's actually them, their sister-in-law, their father-in-law, their veteran brother. They actually struggle with fundamental reality. And that's where the Dems need to actually lay it out. Lay it out. Oh my God. All right, my beloveds. I'll be off soon. There's lots happening always, as you know, but keep me up to date. I was surprised in the last lot of comments how many of you had Guy Fawkes stories from Cracker Night. So it must be Canadians and Brits because we all have that shared cultural history. So that was really enjoyable. Also, all your ideas for saving money at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And don't forget, and a good technique, I started it 20 years ago or something in my family. We call it Chris Kingle. I think you call it Secret Santa, where everyone just buys one present. So there's all these techniques. So let me know what you're thinking about, what's giving you hope. Let's work on that. Okay, bye for now. Ciao.